This is Courage Barbell, and I'm your host, Chad Ikes. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing great. I hope everybody's training hard and getting stronger. On today's episode, I want to talk about a very, very misunderstood concept called conjugate. But first, I want to ask you guys to help me out. Subscribe to this video, share this video, like this video, hit that little alert button. If you could please comment. Any comments will help me out and help me grow this thing, which I'm trying to do for myself and so that I have more free time to help you guys out and get this whole world stronger and help people clean up their training and start training smart and having courage in life and in the gym. And I just want to make everything in the world, the gyms, all better places. So let me get to it then. Conjugate is a hugely misinterpreted, misunderstood type of training. I even know when I first got into powerlifting, which was after a long period of my own training on my own, and then training for sports, and then training for college athletics. Once I got into powerlifting, I knew that what I had learned wasn't necessarily what I needed to get where I wanted to go in powerlifting. So I started reading a lot, and conjugate was a system that was very confusing to me, mostly because the people that were writing about it wrote in very confusing ways. And once I did my first seminar with Dave Tate and Elite FTS and had time to meet Dave and talk with Dave, everything became a lot clearer. And then as I trained and got better, I got to be around better lifters, and I actually got to go to Westside, and I got to meet Louie, and I know a bunch of the Westside guys, at least back in the day. And I got to see how all these great athletes train, the best of the best, which I was fortunate to be included in that. It all got a lot clearer and a lot simpler. But if somebody like Dave Tate wouldn't have taken the time to put on seminars and stuff, I could still be struggling with this concept like a lot of you are out there. So I think Jim Wendler said it best. Conjugate, very simply, is just training different styles all at once. So if you're looking at like Westside Conjugate, they're training max effort days and dynamic days. So they have force training in there and they have max effort training in there. And then with their supplemental stuff, it's a little more generalized strength training and hypertrophy training. A big popular thing I see these days going on is people want to do all their training in waves. And I know there's some guys I really respect that are training that way. And that's cool. But personally, I don't understand why you need to separate all your training and train different things at once. Because if I am training, if I'm going to go, okay, I just need to train hypertrophy for a while, well, my strength is probably going to drop off some. And then if I go, okay, now I want to train speed, well, then my max effort strength isn't that good. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me because throughout my whole powerlifting career, which is a very long, extended career, I've trained everything at one time. I never went off and went, oh, hey, for the next so many weeks or months, I'm going to train this way, and then I'm going to train this way, and then I'm going to train this way. I took the essentials of what I needed, which I think you need max effort. I think you need dynamic effort. If you lose your speed and your ability to generate force, you're going to lose strength. And then I also think there's GPP work, there's general strength training work, and there's even AMRAP work I'm kind of a fan of. So there's all these different ways, and hypertrophy training. I got bigger than shit when I was powerlifting. I wasn't ripped up because my diet wasn't all that great. I was just trying to pound in as much food as I could. But I put on a ton of mass without ever doing an actual hypertrophy cycle. So I don't really see where that needs to be a separate thing. So simply said, and I give credit to Wendler because he's one of the first guys I seen actually say it in this way. It's just different styles all at once. And I know Brandon Lilly came up with the cube method, which was actually very similar to what I had been doing for a long time. We put it together a little differently. And then Mark Bartley put together a program very similar to what I was doing. And I'm not saying, I know that probably sounds pretty fucking arrogant, but I'm saying that in terms of we came, I'm not saying they took anything from me. We just came around with these different concepts all at similar times. But they're all basically, it's all about getting all these different styles into one program and just varying ways to do it. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. But that's simple conjugate. We actually, even on the guys I lift now, a couple of the groups, we laugh all the time because it's like conjugate. Every time you do something that's different, we go conjugate, because everybody thinks conjugate is just completely doing different stuff. Well, that's not conjugate. Conjugate is, you have a program, you have a plan. And I see these guys, well, let's squat on a Bosun ball with bands on one side and chains on the other side. And it's like, what the hell are you people doing? Like, I was one of the top powerlifters in the world, and I never did anything like that. Like, everything we did was planned, and it was within a normal realm of normalcy, at least to some extent. I mean, it was actually very different than what a lot of people were doing at the time. But I wasn't doing this crazy acrobatic, weird balancing stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of clear up what conjugate is. It's not this crazy weird thing, and it's not super complicated. There's multiple ways you can put a conjugate program together, but the idea is it's just a bunch of different styles of training at once. So on your max effort days, I'm a big fan of my own program, which is basically an offshoot of Westside that I liked Westside, but it didn't really work the way I wanted it to work. It wasn't working for my team, so I made some tweaks. And as we get stronger, you make different tweaks, and as you learn, and I got 15, 20 years of tweaking conjugate. You're basically setting up a max effort day to do max effort. During that day, I like to keep changing things up, so we use a lot of different bars, and we throw in a lot. I don't use a straight bar very much anymore because I have a Duffalo bar, which is going to very much simulate the straight bar, but leave a little less stress on my upper body, my shoulders, my chest, my back. So I use that, and we have it incorporated in where, like, I need my guys to be able to switch to a straight bar within 1 or 2 sessions and they're ready to go. And I can do that with the Duffalo bar, but keeps changing, using different bars as much as possible. And we don't squat all the time on max effort days. And we don't bench all the time on bench max effort days. We're switching up movements, doing movements that will help me with that, the squat, the bench, or the deadlift. And we're using different bars. So we're varying things up quite a bit. On our speed days, dynamic days, we're using accommodating resistance. Right now I don't have any chains, so we're using bands all the time, which I'm kind of lazy and they're easier to set up anyway. And we're using light weights, and we're going for maximum speed. It's all about generating force. It's not about lifting the heavy weights. And on those days, we do mostly box squatting, some deadlifting. I will throw in different bars on those days, but generally I would say it's a lot of Duffalo bar and a lot of just regular deadlift bar. And then I have a lot of little GPP sessions and recovery sessions that we do. I will throw in AMRAP days. I was playing around with like a set schedule for AMRAP days, and it ended up being too much, so I'm backing off of some of the AMRAP days and twisting it around a little bit more. It's a continual motion. Like, strength training is a continual sport. One of the things I love about strength training is you will never, ever, ever solve it all. It's continually changing. It's continually modifying and working and learning. So what I did to get my first 500-pound bench is not what I did to get 600. It was not what I did to get 700. Now I'm getting close to 50 years old. As I age, things have to change. So again, things are changing. I train many different clients who are all different. So I have to be able to bend the training to fit what they need. We all have different recovery rates. Right now, my granite job is really hard on my back. That takes a lot out of my ability to recover from training. My sleep is horrible. That takes it out. You gotta blend everything around the individual. There is no set thing for everybody. And that's one of the reasons I love Conjugate, is because it is so easy to manipulate. It's so pliable. So that's about it. I just wanted to do a little simple thing on conjugate, kind of get people to quit thinking everything they do is conjugate because they do something different. Conjugate is not just doing something different all the time. And if you are doing something different all the time, you probably don't have a very good plan going, and you definitely need to have some sort of plan. That's why we train and we do not work out. If you're coming in just doing random shit all the time, then you're working out. I train. I have a goal that I'm meeting, that I'm working towards all the time. All right, guys, I'm out. Have a great weekend, and like this channel, subscribe to this channel, share this channel, check out my Instagram, Chad Ikes, follow that, share that. Let's grow this thing. I want to keep getting out good information to you guys. I want everyone in this world to be stronger and be more courageous. That's my goal. Chad out.